Good afternoon, friends. Actually, I have taken the lecture earlier so that I have one work related to our Women's Day special. So that's why we will complete the lecture up to 2 and then I will go for my work. Okay. Mm, so what we have seen is actually Hamilton's canonical equations of motion. Okay, what are those Hamilton's canonical equations of motion are Pj dot is equals to minus dou h by dou qj and qj dot is equals to dou h by dou pj. Next, dou h by dou t is equals to minus dou l by dou t. So we have seen the Hamilton's canonical equations of motion in the last lecture. Now let us go for the next one, that is addition of a total time derivative of any function of the form. That means we are going to add a total derivative. Let me write the question. Addition of total time derivative, that means we are going to differentiate with respect to time of any function of the form f of qj and t to the Lagrangian of a holonomic system, to the Lagrangian of holonomic system. Then the generalized momentum is given by, then generalized momentum is given by, that means new generalized momentum is Pj plus dou f by dou qj. Okay. So what is our aim to find out? The new Lagrangian L dash. With the help of this new Lagrangian L dash is a function of L plus total derivative of a sum function, that is f of qj and t. Then we have to show that the generalized momentum, that is, this will be say pj dash. Okay, this pj dash will be equal to pj plus dou f by dou qj. Have we understood the question? Question कळालं का? Addition of a total time derivative of any function to the Lagrangian. Lagrangian मध्ये आपला total time derivativeचा total time derivative of a function f we have to add in the holonomic constraint means. Do you mean by holonomic constraint? आवाज येतोय ना माझा?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have to add d by dt of f of qj and t to L, and we have to find out the effect. Okay. So let me first find out L dash is equals to L plus summation over kj is already used. So first we'll evaluate the derivative of this. How to evaluate the derivative of this is dou f by dou qk, derivative of qk with respect to t, plus dou f by dou t. Okay. Now differentiating with respect to qj dot, we have to differentiate this with respect to qj dot. Dou L dash by dou qj dot is equals to L with respect to qj dot. Why we are going to differentiate with respect to qj dot? Because the value of dou L by dou qj dot is nothing but pj. Okay, those who remember from the first unit, first chapter, we have studied dou L by dou qj dot is nothing but pj. Okay, this we have studied in the first chapter. Plus, the term we have to write down is Okay, actually we have to write down the derivative with respect to qk dot also. Okay, so let me write down here itself, because as we have, sorry, here we should not write. We have to differentiate here now. So first, this term as it is, we have to differentiate this one with respect to qj dot. So as at that time we will treat it as it is, constant term summation over k dou f by dou qk, and now we have to differentiate with respect to qj dot. So it is nothing but qk dot with respect to qj dot, plus next term is as f with respect to t. What is given to us, f is a function of qj and t, right? But here it is qj dot. So whether dou f by dou t will be a function of qj dot, f is qj dot a
No,
function.
ma'am.
So it will be 0. The derivative is 0. Again, if you remember this, also I have evaluated in the first unit, even in the second unit many times, that how to evaluate the derivative qk dot with respect to qj dot. It is just like derivative of x1 with respect to x1 plus derivative of x1 with respect to x2 plus up to so on. So all these terms are 0. As we are taking the partial derivative, x1 with respect to x1 is 1, other all the 0. So while running the summation, we will get the result L dash with respect to this is qj dot as it is, plus now what is the value of L with respect to qj dot is nothing but pj. Okay, plus now after running the summation, somewhere k will be equal to j. Then it will be qk dot upon qk dot. It will be 1, and hence we can write dou f by dou qj. Okay, this term as it is. Plus next terms are 0. So we can now say that the new generalized momentum, is given by pj plus dou f by dou qj. And that is what our aim to do. Generalized momentum is given by pj plus dou f by dou qj. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now let us go for the proving the result that we have already done. Okay. We have to find out the, as I told you that we have studied one thing, that Hamiltonian H is a function of summation over j pj qj dot minus L. Okay. Where L is a function of qj dot and t. But what is H? H is a function of pj, qj, and t. Those who remember that in the somewhere in the last lectures we have studied the H is a function of pj, qj, and t. L is a function of qj, qj dot, and t. So at that time I have told you that whenever one of the coordinate is absent, then dou L by dou qj is 0. What do you mean by dou L by dou qj is 0? Qj is cyclic in L, but corresponding qj dot is present. So you can go back to your first chapter and you can check many of the example we have solved with the help of that. You just go to first chapter and you can check the value of L is equals to t minus v we have calculated. Okay. Sometime x was not present, but x dot was present in the value of L. So we have solved these type of example. So in this one, if qj is cyclic, no doubt we have to agree with the qj dot. So again we have to deal with the n coordinates. But here, if qj is cyclic in L, the corresponding pj is a constant. So now we have to deal with only n minus 1 generalized coordinate. Okay. So that's why the Hamiltonian is good whenever you have the cyclic coordinate. Okay, if you want to deal with the cyclic coordinate, this one your Hamiltonian works better because we have to deal with the n minus 1 coordinate. Suppose we have three coordinate. Now instead of having three coordinate, if suppose one of them is absent in Lagrangian, so we can only deal with the two coordinate if we are using the Hamiltonian function. Okay. Now let me go for the example. Set up the Hamiltonian H and hence prove the Hamilton's canonical equations of motion for simple pendulum. Let me write down the question. Set up Hamiltonian only 30 students are there. We are putting the videos on the YouTube. Count is decreasing day by day. Set up a Hamiltonian edge and hence the Hamiltonian equations of motion for simple pendulum. And hence the Hamilton's equation of motion or simple pendulum. Okay, now let us go one by one. What we have to do for first we have to construct the simple pendulum. Let us assume that this is a what a rigid support and thread of length L we are going to take, and as it revolves, so this is what the position of a particle at any point xy, and this is what an angle theta made by a thread of length L with the positive with the vertical, and this is what x coordinate, this is y coordinate. In detail, we have done this already. So, what is the relation between x and y coordinate? Is x square plus y square is equal to l square. The theta is working as a generalized coordinate. Why this is so? Because simply xy is sufficient to describe the position of a particle, but they are related by this equation. So, that's why they are linearly dependent. Okay, so total two coordinate related by one equation, so we get one generalized coordinate. Okay, things we have already seen now. But what is our aim to do in this chapter? In this point is we have to first find out the Hamiltonian or Hamiltonian H for the simple pendulum case, and we have to uh, prove the result, or we have to find out the equation for motion by using the Hamilton's canonical equations of motion. Okay. So for that, let me go directly for kinetic energy. T is equals to 1 upon 2 mv square, which is equal to 1 upon 2 m r dot square, which is equal to 1 upon 2 m x dot square plus y dot square. Right. Now what is the value of x we can calculate from the figure is, if you remember what is the value of x we have calculated is, Tanga,
L cos theta.
x is L cos theta. Opposite
L
side,
sin theta.
L sin theta.
L sin theta, y is L cos theta.
Cos theta.
Okay, so now we have to put up these values by using the value of x dot is nothing but L sin theta, derivative of sin theta is nothing but cos theta into theta dot. Y dot will be L derivative of cos theta is minus sin theta, and derivative of theta is theta. Okay, so t is equals to 1 upon 2 m x dot square plus y dot square, that is L square theta dot square, and this cos square theta plus sin square theta will be 1. Okay. So first we have found the value of a t. If you want to cross verify the value of t which we have found already, we will get the same value. Now what is v? We have done it already for our first chapter. Okay, v is equals to mgh. And what is height of a pendulum? Mg. H is nothing but your L minus y, that is y coordinate minus the length of your pendulum. Okay, y coordinate minus the length of pendulum, that means this portion is nothing but your height of a simple pendulum. मतलब वो जो जिस एरिया में वो घूम रहा है, right? This is what an area. So this is what a height of that pendulum. That we can write it as v is equals to mgl minus value of y, will write it as L cos theta, and hence we can write mgl 1 minus cos theta So the new Lagrangian L is equals to T minus V. Value of T is 1 upon 2 ml square theta dot square. Okay, ml square theta dot square and minus mgl 1 minus cos theta. Now, what we have to do, we have to find out the Hamiltonian H. How the Hamiltonian H is defined? It is summation over J Pj Qj dot minus L. Okay. Now, as theta is present here, so we can use Lagrangian or we can use a Hamiltonian, because Hamiltonian is useful when we have a cyclic coordinate. But here theta is present in L, so here theta is not a cyclic coordinate. Okay, but still we can use a Hamiltonian for cyclic as well as non-cyclic coordinate. Now how many j we have, as j is running for 1 to n, but only one coordinate, only one generalized coordinate we have, that why we are writing it is p theta dot, p theta into uj is nothing but your theta, so it is written as theta dot minus the value of L we have to write down here. What is the value of L we can write is, here it is 1 minus 1 by 2 ml square theta dot square plus mgl 1 minus cos theta. Okay, now let me evaluate the by using our generalized momentum equation. What is a generalized momentum equation? Pj is equals to dou L by dou Qj dot. We have written already in the first chapter. Okay, why I am repeating first chapter? Because I hope you have started your study for internal examinations. Okay, so it is, we can write it as L with respect to theta dot is nothing but p theta. So to find out the value of p theta is, you have to differentiate the equation of L with respect to theta dot. By differentiating equation L, that is Lagrangian L with respect to theta dot, what is the value? झोपलेत सगळे ना? I asked you one question. What is the derivative of L with respect to theta?
ml theta dot.
M L square theta dot, na?
हाँ L square.
H square. So 2 get cancelled. It will be simply ml square theta dot. There is no term of a theta dot in the second term, so we can keep it as it is. That means that the derivative will be 0. So now let me find out the value of theta dot from this equation. It will be p theta divided by ml square. Let me have some notation for this equation. Now what you have to do, we have to use this value of theta dot in our equation of H. What is H? H is equals to E theta into theta dot minus 1 by 2 ml square theta dot square plus mgl 1 minus cos theta. Okay, so wherever you are having the theta dot, we have to put it as p theta upon ml square. Let me put up p theta, it will be p theta square divided by ml square minus 1 by 2 ml square. Theta dot square is nothing but p theta square divided by m square l raised to 4 plus mgl 1 minus cos of theta. Okay. Now, we'll arrange the term in such a way that we get the value of h. Now you can see here this m l square can get cancelled with this m, and this will be 2. L square get cancelled, L raised to 4 become L square. So p theta square by ml square minus half p theta square by ml square, that we can write it as p theta square by, as half is subtracted, so we can write it as 1 by 2 p theta square by ml square. Getting this? Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Theta square by ml square outside, it is 1 minus 1 by 2, that is 1 by 2. Plus mgl 1 minus cos theta. So this is what a value of h we have calculated. Okay, which is a required Hamiltonian we have found. Okay, now first part we have done the Hamiltonian h we have found. Why we have written theta dot in terms of p theta by ml square, because we don't need any terms of theta dot in our equation. Okay, because since h is a function of pj, qj and t, there is no qj dot, so that's why we have removed the theta dot with the help of our equation of a generalized momentum. Okay, so hence we have found now a value of h. That means half part is done. Any doubt up to this?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, now let us go to find out the value of the our, or rather we will evaluate in such a way that we will get the equation of a motion. Okay, now by the Hamilton's canonical equations of motion. What are Hamilton's canonical equations of motion? Are qj dot is equals to dou h by dou pj, and pj dot is equals to dou h by dou qj with negative sign, and dou h by dou t is equals to minus dou L by dou t. Now here value of j is only 1, because only one generalized coordinate, that theta we have. Theta dot is equals to h with respect to p theta, and p theta dot, that is this p theta dot is equals to minus dou h by dou theta, and this term as it is. Okay. Now let me first evaluate the p theta dot. So what will be p theta dot is equals to h with respect to theta. We have to evaluate the value of h with respect to theta. Is there any term of a theta in our equation of h?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the derivative h with respect to theta? First term is 0. No, there is no term of theta. It is p theta, not a single theta. So what will be the derivative? Mgl as it is. Derivative of cos theta is minus sin theta. Minus minus become plus, right? And this minus as it is. This minus carry as it is. So we'll get the resultant is mgl sin theta. Okay, the next term is we have to find out the value of p theta dot. So sorry, theta dot already we have found, no? P theta dot is minus mgl sin theta. Okay, we have found already the value of a theta dot, if you remember.
P theta upon ml square.
Correct. Theta upon ml square. Now, what is the value of p theta? We can write is p theta is nothing
ml
but
square theta dot.
correct ml square theta dot. Now, what will be the value of p theta dot from this equation? Because here we have to put p theta dot. Okay. So, what will be the value of p theta dot from this equation? Okay, let me write down here only p theta dot is equals to ml, both are constant, mass is constant, length is also constant. So it will be simply theta double dot. So here we have to put up the value of p theta double dot from the above equation. We can say it is ml square theta double dot is equals to minus mgl sin theta. Okay. So hence we get the value of theta double dot is equals to this ml get cancelled, theta double dot is equal to minus, sorry, m get cancelled, no? So we get it is minus g sin theta divided by L, which we can write it as theta double dot plus g by L sin theta, and which is nothing but our equation of a motion for a simple pendulum, which we have already derived in our first chapter. You can verify the equation we have obtained by using the Hamiltonian as well as by using our uh, Lagrange's equations of motion are same. Okay. So what are the difference in the steps? After finding L, we are using Lagrange's equation of motion in our first chapter. But now in this case, we have to use a Hamiltonian H. After using Hamiltonian H, you have to replace theta dot or x dot, whatever qj dot we have. In this example, it is theta dot, but you can have any value of a qj dot. So you have to replace it by using our pj is equal to my dou L by dou qj dot. And after using this, we have to now use the Hamilton's canonical equations of motion and you will get the result. Okay. Any doubt with this example? How to solve the example by using Hamiltonian? Simply you have to use equation of H. That is this equation H is equal to summation over J Pj Qj dot minus L. And then we have to use Hamilton's canonical equations of motion. And here we have to use the value of p theta dot. Okay, p theta already we have found with the help of pj is equal to dou L by dou qj dot. And hence we get the result. Okay. Now, the same example I will give you for homework. Spherical pendulum, which we have already derived in our first chapter, but you have to write down these things with the help of our Hamilton's canonical equations of motion. But in case of a spherical pendulum, it is not having a single coordinate. So you have to work for a p theta and p phi because theta and phi are working as a generalized coordinate for the spherical pendulum. Okay. So you have to work it and you have to find out the equation of motion by using the Hamiltonian H and Hamiltonian canonical equations of motion. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we'll go for the next point, that is Ruthian. First we have seen Lagrangian in the first chapter. In the third chapter we'll see the 2 points, that is Ruthian procedure. Okay, actually if you come to our L is a function of qj dot and t. So here h we have found a function of pj, qj and t. So if qj is cyclic in L but qj dot is present. If qj is cyclic in L, pj is constant. But out of all these two, we are now going to find out the new function, that is a Ruthian R is a potential function which is constructed out of Lagrangian as well as Hamiltonian, which works in somewhat in between Lagrangian and Hamiltonian. Okay, so Ruthian is a process or Ruthian is a function which work in between Lagrangian and Hamiltonian. So it is a mixed function of the variables. What are the variable here used are pj, qj dot, and instead of using t, it is used as qj, pj, qj dot, and qj. Instead of using t, we are using pj, qj dot, and qj. So here is qj and qj dot, and here is pj and qj. So these two are in Hamiltonian, and these two are in Lagrangian. So the Ruthian R works as a in between Lagrangian and Hamiltonian. Totally we have n generalized coordinate, where the total generalized coordinates we can have is n in number. Okay, that is qj r n in number. Generalized coordinate qj r n in number, and the rest n variables are shared in between qj dot and pj. Okay, now you'll understand how they are shared in between. Qj dot L Pj. When there are some cyclic coordinate in the Lagrangian cyclic coordinate, if there are, then the construction of division is useful if suppose the first S variable out of n variable are cyclic in L, then the Ruthian is defined as. That means instead of having n variable directly, we are using the S variable out of n variables. Suppose that there are 100 variable. Out of 100 variables, suppose there are 60 variables are S. What do you mean by S variable? Uh, these S variable are cyclic. That means they are absent in Lagrangian. Okay. The remaining variables will be n minus 1. That is 40 variable are non-cyclic. Okay. No, we are not going to deal with 100 variable. We may deal with at least 2 or 3. Okay. So now let me define the value of R is, first what is told to us, Qj is n in number. That means Q1, Q2 up to so on, Qn. Next, what is told to us? Okay, let me write down this with S, then Q, S plus 1 and so on up to Qn. Okay. What is told to us? First S coordinates are cyclic. These are cyclic coordinate. These are non-cyclic coordinate. Okay, now the remaining variables are shared in between Qj dot and Pj. The remaining n variables are shared between. So we can write P1, P2 up to so on Ps corresponding to cyclic coordinate. There will be generalized momentum. Why this is so? Because if there is a cyclic coordinate, the generalized momentum is constant. So we have to deal with n minus 1 coordinate. And corresponding to non-cyclic coordinate, we will have Qj, so Qs plus 1 dot, Qs plus 2 dot, and so on, Qn dot. Okay. Are you getting how the Ruthian is constructed? We are having total number of generalized coordinates are n in number, the cyclic and non-cyclic. Starting S coordinate we can assume as a cyclic, the next coordinate are non-cyclic, and corresponding to cyclic coordinate we have generalized momentum. Corresponding to non-cyclic coordinate we have generalized velocity. Okay, why this is so? Because whenever you have a cyclic coordinate, the corresponding generalized momentum is constant. Okay, we have seen in the starting of the third chapter. Have you understood the construction?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the Ruthian R is defined as summation over J Pj Qj dot, but there is a difference here. J runs from 1 to S only for S variables. Okay, starting cyclic coordinate minus L, which is a function of Qj dot and T. Okay, so in this way we have described the value of a R, Ruthian. So Ruthian R is working in between Lagrangian and Hamiltonian. Okay, in the next lecture we'll go for the how the Ruthian R instead of using L and H, because when we will use L when we have non-cyclic coordinate, when we have cyclic coordinate we use H. Why this is so? Because corresponding Pj is constant. Pj is constant whenever you have Qj cyclic. So that's why the number of coordinates are reduces by 1. Hence, we in case of cyclic coordinate we use H. In case of non-cyclic coordinate we use L. But now there is no need to use H as well as L. We'll use directly Ruthian. How we'll use directly Ruthian? That I will show you in the next lecture. In the next lecture, I will show Ruthian will work as L in case of non-cyclic coordinate, and Ruthian will work as H in case of a cyclic coordinate, and how to solve the examples by using R. Okay, that means the R means what? The equation or the system in which involves cyclic as well as non-cyclic coordinate. The system in which we involve cyclic as well as non-cyclic coordinate, we are going to use a Ruthian procedure, which is working in between Hamiltonian and Lagrangian. Any doubt with this lecture?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now you can stop and you can wait for the next lecture. It will start at the same time. Actually, we are having the lecture up from 1:30 to 2:30. So the next lecture will be at 2:30. Thank you for attending the lecture. You can leave the meeting.